Hey guys, come on in. We're going to have our Friday immigration news of the week. This is our news roundup. Come on in, say hello, say freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. If that's what you truly believe, freedom now for yourself, for your family member, for your coworker. Just type in freedom now so that I can know that you're with me today in this live session. For those of you who are new to me, welcome. I'm Latoya McBean Pompey, an immigration lawyer in New York, working with clients globally at McBean Law. You guys, you can reach out to us at 888-462-4006. Our contact details are scrolling below on this screen. Come on in, give me some hearts, give me some likes. Hey there. Thank you, Freedom Now, Edmund. Freedom Now, Freedom Now. Guys, we have some really interesting immigration news to cover today. Thank you so much for being with me. We're in a new office. We've moved. Our office moved. We're still in White Plains, in the downtown White Plains area, and we've moved into a bigger office suite. So check out our contact details on our website to see where we are. If you have an in-person appointment coming up with us, be sure to check out our contact details for the correct information. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. Let's go. Freedom now. Friends, today, let's dive right in. I'm going to dive right in. Okay. Thank you for being with me. Bring your comments, your immigration questions, I should say, bring those immigration questions on Monday at the live Q&A show that I normally do with you on Mondays at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time. Okay. So for today, we're just going to go through the important news that came out this week around immigration, and there's a lot of good stuff to talk about. Check your inbox as well if you're a subscriber. We sent out our weekly top 7 immigration news, so you're going to want to check your inbox today. Okay, so we're going to get into the first issue, and this is a good and bad news summary or roundup. Okay, so let's just get the bad out of the way. By talking about, unfortunately, friends, for the diversity visa winners from 2020 and 2021. Bad news came out this week from the federal court in D.C., the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia. They reversed the lower court's rulings with regard to the diversity visa winners from the fiscal years 2020 and 2021 who were unfairly prevented, I should say, or they lost their opportunity for an immigrant visa during the Trump years, during those different bans and proclamations. And you guys remember what happened during that administration. So along the way, however, various class action lawsuits were initiated, and some very positive actions happened to allow a certain number of individuals to still be able to press on and get their immigrant visa despite the fact that the fiscal year had ended for that opportunity. Well, unfortunately, on June 25th, the Court of Appeals reversed all of those decisions, and they were very strong in their condemnation in language, so to speak, for what the lower courts had done. And here's what they say here, that the district courts had no authority to order the State Department to keep processing applications for diversity visas and issuing the visas beyond the end of the relevant fiscal years. And courts cannot order relief that conflicts with a clear and constitutionally valid statute. Okay? So then they go on to say that once fiscal years 2020 and 2021 ended, the plaintiffs lost their eligibility for diversity visas, and certainly they can reapply, right? Accordingly, the State Department. So here's what the State Department is saying. Accordingly, they're not going to issue or process DV cases associated with any of the previous district court decisions for 2020 and 2021 DV fiscal years. And those who are impacted by this, they can just register again. That's what they say here. You may submit a new DV entry during the registration period for the DV 2026 program year, which will open in October 2024 and close in early November 2024. So there you have it, okay? Unfortunately, there was a lot of groundwork that happened with those lower court movements and decisions, and a lot of work went into those cases. And unfortunately, it did not work out to really press on and provide the relief that these folks really needed. Okay, now let's move on to good news. Good news, Haitians, who is from Haiti, from Haiti and here in the United States, because I have some very good news after a very lengthy advocacy process. Okay, the Biden administration has finally redesignated Haiti for TPS, for temporary protected status. And this took a long time, guys. It took a long time for Haiti to get this redesignation, and a lot of Haitians with TPS were very nervous over the past few months, wondering what's going on with Haiti. If that's you, type it in now. Type in, that's me. I'm Haitian. I was worried about it, and I'm really glad about this news. But what you should also keep in mind is that although this redesignation happened, which is great, for another 18 months, it took quite an effort, okay, to get it done, which doesn't look that great for the future. Okay, it's 14 years now since 2010 that Haiti has been designated a TPS country, and there was a lot of heavy lifting, okay, that went into this. And here's the announcement from DHS. Here are some of the details, important details that you really need to understand. The first really important detail is that this creates new opportunities for individuals who had been in the United States since or as of June 3rd, 2024. So this opens up the door for those of you who had been in the United States, who came in recently, I should say, and now you have an opportunity to apply for temporary protected status and get a work permit. And for some people, they're also able to get a travel document, 5 years, I think it's 5 years, that in which they'll be able to travel. I'm not sure if it's 5 years, by the way. I don't think it is. But anyway, they will be able to get a work permit and a travel document as well. So this is such great news. June 3rd is the new cutoff date. And here's what the announcement says, okay? It says that this redesignation will allow an estimated 309,000 additional Haitian nationals to file initial applications for TPS if they're eligible, okay? If they were here in the U.S., and they established their residence in the United States on or before June 3rd, 2024, and have continued to reside in the United States since then. And the announcement, which you can find on DHS's website, goes on to tell you how you can apply for this. The registration period will open up on July 1st. From July 1st, 2024 through February 3rd, 2026. This is an 18-month, let me go back up. It's an 18-month designation from August 4th, 2024 until February 3rd, 2026. And this is great news for those of you who are new to America and you've been here since June 3rd, 2024. So this is good. I like this. This is great. If you're enjoying this show, just say freedom now. I'm enjoying this. Freedom now, freedom now, freedom now. So now we're going to get into the third piece that I really want to discuss with you, okay? The third news. And this is coming from the Biden proposal. Remember, he had two major proposals that he delivered on June, I think it was 18th, right? he delivered the news that parole in place will now be available to spouses of U.S. citizens who meet the eligibility requirements, the 10 years residency, married to a U.S. citizen, and all the other requirements that are known to us at this time. There's more to come, okay? More to come about how that program is going to work, or opportunity. The second big part of what he talked about, second news, is related to undocumented immigrants in the United States who have an opportunity for a work visa. And the only way that they could secure that work visa is if they were to leave the United States and go abroad for that work visa. And some people mentioned that some individuals with DACA would be eligible for this, Dreamers would be eligible for this, and other undocumented immigrants would be eligible for this. But we really didn't know specifically what they were talking about. They also mentioned, well, waivers. You must file a waiver in order to be able to go all the way to the finish line. Well, the State Department has issued a Q&A, which kind of, talks a little bit about what the Biden administration is working on. And I'm going to take you through some key aspects of it, but know that the State Department has indicated that within 30 days, they're going to share more information about this waiver opportunity for those of you who are undocumented in the United States, who have a job offer, and you want to go out of the U.S. to an embassy to interview for that work visa and then come back in and be in lawful status. That's what this opportunity would do. So let me pull up the State Department's announcement here and go through some of we're not going to cover all of this, but just touch on the main issue, the main point. The main point here, firstly, is that the State Department is clarifying for people how the current waiver process works for non-immigrants who have problems being approved for a visa, and there's a waiver that they have to bring with them to the embassy, a request, and that waiver goes through kind of a two-step approval process or review process. And if successful, that waiver would allow them to get that visa and come to the United States and be in lawful status for the duration of that visa. So they clarify how that process works, and then they get into details about, well, if you're here in the United States and you're pursuing a work visa like an H-1B or another temporary work visa, that the first step is typically the form I-129, petition for a non-immigrant worker, to be filed and approved. And then it goes into some details about the fact that after that happens, then you'll have to submit a visa application, the DS-160 process. And then there's a review process that happens at the consular level that if you're denied, applicants who are denied a visa will be notified by the consular officer of the reason and whether they're eligible to apply for a waiver. And if they apply for this particular waiver, that waiver request will go to an office. Okay, it's going to go to the DHS, U.S. Customs and Border Protection's Admissibility Review Office, based on the recommendation from the consular officer that they need to approve this waiver. So the officer at the embassy makes a recommendation that this waiver should be approved, and then this admissibility review office looks at it and says yes or no. And then if it's a yes, then you'll get the visa. So the government goes through this process of explaining to you guys what this is all about and how it works. Now, then buried in their Q&A are some tips about some information about what to expect with the new Biden proposal. And it talks about the fact that they are going to follow this process still. Okay? Even if you're here in the United States in an undocumented status, you will need this waiver, same waiver and it's going to go through that same process. A consular officer will need to make that recommendation to that admissibility review office in Washington, D.C. And if that office says yes, you'll get your visa and come back into the United States. But what's a little different here about what the Biden administration is proposing is that there's going to be an expedited process for this waiver. Okay, so you'll leave the United States if you decide to take the risk, because they also say here that there are risks inherent in leaving the United States. But if you decide, I'm going to leave the United States and I'm going to apply for this waiver at the embassy, they're going to expedite the review process for these high-skilled people, workers, high-skilled workers, really. And once that waiver is approved, then you'll be able to come back into the United States. So this is the process that they are actually working on. And they're going to update the Foreign Affairs Manual to within the next 30 days to tell you exactly how this is going to work. They also say here, friends, that while leaving the United States to apply for a visa is not without risk, this policy will clarify when consular officers should consider recommending waivers so that individuals and employers can make informed decisions and streamline the process so that those who qualify can get to work quickly. And then it also says that they're not conferring any new benefits on anyone, and this is not limited to DACA recipients. It says so right here in this paragraph. It's not limited to DACA recipients. But you need to understand that this waiver process is still going to happen abroad. They're just going to expedite it for workers. This exists currently, and this entire Q&A constantly says we're not doing anything new. We're not conferring anything new to anyone. We're still consistent with our current procedures and policies, and this is how we're doing it currently overseas for people who interview at the embassy. This is their process, and here's how we're going to extend it now to those inside of the United States who decide to take the risk to leave and go to an embassy. They're going to have to go through the same process. The only difference is we're going to expedite it for these workers so that they could get to work and get back to the United States. Now, this type of process, if you're considering doing this, once this opens up, you should absolutely speak with an immigration lawyer to talk about your immigration history, because the consular officers will still have that discretion to say yes or no based on your immigration history, based on your criminal history, if you have one, based on very serious problems that could be on your record. This is still discretionary. Whenever you go to the U.S. Embassy for a visa, a work visa, it's discretionary. And so you've got to understand, friends, what's on your record and let that attorney weigh things out for you, so to speak, so that you can make an informed decision. And they actually say that here. You've got to make an informed decision. And I would add to that, before you leave America. Okay? So I think this is going to be a narrow, a very small number of people who will be eligible for this. I think it's very small. It sounds great and lofty and big and great and wonderful. It would be nice. It would have been nice, guys, if that waiver could have been approved before you left America, right? That would have been beautiful. But they are saying that the consular officer will need to see you first and make a decision about whether they're going to recommend your waiver for a second review. And so there you have it. Let's see what the updated guidance say. It's going to be within the next 30 days. They're going to issue it, and it'll go deeper. And I really, 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 really wish that they would approve this here on the state side before folks make the decision to leave, make that informed decision. So those are the top immigration news that I wanted to discuss with you today. Also, the President Trump, former President Trump, okay, let me clarify before you guys try to jump on me. He's not president. He's not the president right now. I know that half the country says he's still my president. Technically speaking, he's not in the White House, so he's not president yet. clarification, okay? I have like a million views on a little TikTok I did on a Friday night, late one night, when I was kind of like cranky and wanted to go to sleep. And then this thing blew up, and it's a million views in this one video in which I'm like, oh, I want to go to sleep, but let me get this out. Anyway, so this this announcement or rhetoric from Donald Trump that he wants to issue a green card to everyone who graduates from a college or university in the United States. His campaign folks are really backtracking on that, trying to clean it up, because he has faced quite a bit of backlash from even his own camp, and so now they're really narrowing this. Okay, they've really narrowed it, and I don't have the clip here in front of me to show you guys at this time, but they are saying that these are individuals who will be vetted. There's going to be a vetting process that happens. Okay, so they're trying to really narrow it just to some very to a few people. But anyway, more to come on that in the days ahead. Guys, thanks so much for watching this one. It was a little long. I hope you found it helpful. Be sure to share it with others. I will see you on Monday, God willing, Monday at 1:00 p.m. Eastern time to answer your immigration questions. Thanks so much. Have a terrific weekend, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.